Hello everyone, Watch Captain Kyrez here, back to you from a long hiatus, and I apologize for that. Recently, my family and I have just been dealing with a few hardships, and it's just been a little bit tough to make a video, but I'm going to try to pick up where I left off, and talking about some Thundrik's Profiteers, some flying dwarves. That's great. It's bad news for most of you that are not a dwarf, but it's great news if you are a dwarf. So Thundrik's Profiteers, a little bit of backstory or flavor fluff for them. They came to the Mirrored City to plunder it, get golds and riches, just like every dwarf really wants to do in life. And they got separated from their gunship. And so their main thing is trying to find their ship and get out of there. But the Mirrored City, as it is, won't let them leave. So for the Warband, it has 5 members, giving you a unique position to create some board control and kind of position the enemy where you want them. And so going in depth into the members, we have Bjorgen Thundrik. He's the leader of the warband, and he's the absolute linchpin of this warband. You're definitely going to want to try to protect this guy, keep him alive at all costs, because he is the main reason why or how you will be inspiring your other members. And starting off, he has the Atmospheric Atomizer, a range 3, 2 hammers, 1 damage. And he also has a melee weapon with range 1, 2 hammers, and 1 damage as well, coming at a whopping 2 movement, 1 shield, and 4 health to start off. His special abilities: Promotion. Each time you score an objective, if this fighter is on the battlefield, you can choose a friendly fighter. That fighter becomes inspired. Like I was saying, definitely going to want to keep this guy alive and around to make sure all of your members become inspired. He also comes with a reaction. Use this after this fighter's activation. In the next activation, enemy fighters treat hexes adjacent to this fighter, other than blocked hexes, as lethal hexes. Great use for board control, setting up traps like they say in their post. How useful it could be very useful depending on the board setup. Board setup is going to be very pivotal in how good or how much success you'll see out of this warband as we go along. Thundrik himself is probably the best fighter in the warband. And inspired, he becomes he gains 1 more damage to his Atmospheric Atomizer. No change to the second one profile. He gains a extra movement, moving to 3, an extra shield to 2, and 1 extra health. So it really becomes a massive force on the field once he's inspired. Probably be the first one to you want to inspire, but just gotta make sure to keep him alive at all costs. And moving on, we have Deadeye Lund. He's going to be your one of your main ranged cleave guys. Just as a quick side note, all the Thundrik's guys have a range of 3. They are all range base characters, so you're basically going to want to kind of, we'll talk a little bit more about that after this. His Aether Shot Rifle, range of 3, 2 hammers, 1 damage, and this is your cleave guy. He has no special other abilities other than his base cleave. 2 movement, 1 shield, 3 health. Inspired, he gets an extra damage on his rifle, 1 extra movement, and 1 extra health. And then we have Enric Ironhail, probably the second guy you want to inspire and buff up. His Aethermatic Volley Gun, range 3, looking for 3 swords and 1 damage with a knockback of 1. No other special abilities. 2 movement, 1 dodge, 2 health. So he's very, very susceptible to just getting shot out or one-shotted by a lot of things. Him inspired, he gains an extra attack dice, 1 extra movement, and he moves to shields and then 1 extra health. So getting him inspired is pretty important, especially with some of the combos later on with the other cards. And then next up, we have Kazgan Drakskewer. And this is the guy with the little blimp. He has a Sky Pike, range 2, 2 hammers with 2 damage. And then he has a pistol with a range of 3, looking for 2 swords and 1 damage, movement 4, 1 shield, and 3 health. And this fighter treats lethal hexes as normal hexes and can move through occupied hexes, but cannot end their movement in an occupied hex. So he's your mobile, run-around guy. And then him inspired, he gets an extra damage on his Sky Pike. Nothing new with the pistol. He gets 1 extra health down there at the bottom. And then we have Garrod Allenson. And he's got the Arcanaut Cutter with a range of 1, 2 hammers, 1 damage. And then a pistol with a range 3, 2 swords, and 1 damage. 2 movement, 1 dodge, 2 health. Again, a little bit of a paperweight there. And then once he becomes inspired, his cutter gets an extra damage. He gets an extra movement, moves to 1 shield, and then 3 health. And from what I've read, I have read all of these cards, and I found another website or another blog where a guy had up all of his pre-order stuff already, and he went through every single universal card that was in the deck of Yothari's Guardians and Thundrik's Profiteers. There's a lot of synergy for this warband to just kind of sit in the backfield and just pick you apart. I may go over that in a later video once all the cards are out. I don't really want to spoil anything for anybody, but it's all out there if you want to go find it yourself. And so for some of their faction objectives, we have Headshot. Score this immediately if a friendly fighter scores a critical hit with a range attack action of a range 3 or more. Pretty easy to get. Everybody has it. Probably going to be a given in there, especially with Iron Hail. He's rolling 3 dice uninspired, 4 dice inspired. It's really good odds to get that. And taking a skip over here to Rapid Reload. After this fighter's first Aether volley gun attack action in a round, they can make an attack action again. So basically attack twice, rolling, if he's inspired, 8 dice. Essentially, you're pretty, unless you're super unlucky, you'll almost be guaranteed headshot with this one guy in that upgrade. They also have Focus Fire. Score this immediately if the third different friendly fighter makes an attack action with a range of 3 or more targeting the same fighter in this phase. Pretty easy to do. Just have to have 3 dudes shoot at 1 guy. If you're going against Mollog, not hard to do because they'll probably live. And not all of their ranged weapons do a whole lot of damage, so anybody of a range of, or has a wounds characteristic of 3 or more, you're more than likely able to shoot him with 3 guys. And so then we have a few ploys for them. We have Time Charge. Reaction after a friendly Drakskewer's move action that begins adjacent to any enemy fighters. Roll an attack dice. On a roll of a hammer or a crit, those enemy fighters each suffer 1 damage. If he gets in there and are surrounded, that'll be a pretty good thing to play. Maybe not the best unless you're playing super aggro. Probably not the card you want to take. Because to me, it sounds like these guys want to be kind of defensive and super board controlling on their side, keeping you out. There are some objectives for that. And then you have Toxic Gases. Choose an enemy fighter. That fighter's player must make a choice. Either that fighter suffers 1 damage, or you push that fighter up to 2 hexes. This is a great card. It's probably going to see a lot of play because there's no range on it. No other stipulations other than you pick an enemy fighter, and then they have to make a decision. Either they become weaker, that character becomes weaker, or they get pushed out of position, which is all about what you want. You can push these guys, you can push them out of your deployment zone and just kind of wreak havoc, controlling the board that way, or you just deal a free damage. You don't have to roll for this, nothing. It's a great card, love that. Protect the boss. Choose a friendly fighter and push them up to 2 hexes so that they are adjacent to your leader. Great free movement. Dwarves suffer from the movement. Most of them only have like a move or 2 or 3 when they become inspired. So anything that gives you a free movement would be pretty great. And also a lot of the other synergies I've seen in the deck want you to be next to Thundrik. Again, he's the boss. He's the one basically paying all the guys, if you want to think of it that way. So they definitely want to keep him alive. But so far as that, folks, that's all I'm going to reveal about them today. I think this is going to be a great warband. They'll be very interesting to see how they evolve into the meta. But anyways, folks, thank you for listening. Have a nice day.